Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi worked with Stormy Daniels, not on the movie set, but in 2018. I will read you a couple of articles, almost certainly, okay, in a political sense. Chicago Sun-Times, almost certainly, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I can't say that I'm certain, but according to these articles, you can pretty much get to what took place. Chicago Sun-Times, Avenatti hit Democratic National Committee meeting as he mulls presidential run. Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for Stormy Daniels, in her case against President Trump, has made a surprise visit Thursday to the Democratic National Committee summer meeting in Chicago as he mulls a 2020 presidential bid. Now, Avenatti's in prison now. But what was Stormy's lawyer doing at the Democratic National Committee? Okay, that's what Jim Jordan and James Comer are going to find out. That is exactly why Alvin Bragg is being forced to testify, or being told or demanded to testify. There was an interaction between Stormy and Democrats through intermediaries, either her lawyer, public relations executives, people around them. Here you have Never Get in the Way of the President and His Star, a Politico article. Pelosi herself states, quote, "You can be sure," end quote, if any Democrats were so closely linked to a scandal of this nature with potential campaign finance violations, quote, "the Republicans would be very involved in it," end quote. Yeah, but the Republicans wouldn't get, or they wouldn't have the power to get, they wouldn't do anything for Trump, the Republican Party, but they wouldn't get state prosecutors involved, okay? When you get New York prosecutors involved, they wouldn't get Arkansas prosecutors involved, or Little Rock, Arkansas prosecutors involved to go after the Clintons, okay? So that's the difference here. But you have a Politico article, Never Get in the Way of a President and His Star. Avenatti went to the Democratic National Committee meeting. So you have Stormy's attorney going to, imagine if you could just, Giuliani goes to the RNC and then works alongside or has something to do with prosecutors, or his client eventually works with prosecutors to indict a former Democratic Party president, or former president who is a Democrat. If you flip the script, you have to ask, well, okay, why would they allow this to take place? So you have Michael Avenatti going to the Democratic National Committee. He was going to run as a Democrat, okay? CNN, Avenatti's actions on potential presidential run speak louder than his words. He spoke at the DNC, I believe. So here, Michael Avenatti, a boisterous lawyer who has risen to national fame in recent months, publicly pestering Donald Trump, will continue his public flirtation by headlining two more Democratic Party events this weekend. Two more events. So after each speech, he has been asked to speak at more Democratic functions. He will follow up at the appearance on Sunday by appearing at the Hillsborough County Democrats' summer picnic in New Hampshire, a crucial state for presidential contenders. So he was, her lawyer was a big part of the Democratic Party, he was a growing influence within the Democratic Party. And then Democrats in New York, years later, want to indict and arrest Trump. Gee, you think maybe there's a correlation there between Stormy and the Democratic Party that perhaps shows bias and manipulation? Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now. If you want to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, and other publications, go to hagoodman.com. Become part of a newsletter there. To my Patreons, to my new Patreons, thank you. If you enjoy my work, my Patreon link is below. And become part of a newsletter there. Ladies and gentlemen, I should have a live stream tonight. We'll talk about all this and more. So here, you have a whole bunch of Tim Ryan, another possible 2020 so here you go. I think he's a phenomenal guy, and I've gotten to know him a bit in the last week. We went to dinner last week. He was in Youngstown, and I really like him, Ryan told CNN after commending Avenatti's work against Trump. I wonder what Tim Ryan thinks about Avenatti now. Okay, so this is the Democratic Party. Okay. And then you have, of course, Avenatti is winning Democrats. Oh, Stormy Daniels is crowding out the Democratic 2018 message. This is Vox. So, he was in Iowa. Politico. Michael Avenatti is winning the 2020 Democratic primary. And so, you got to ask yourself, gee, you think maybe Pelosi was a part of... Pelosi didn't call Stormy Daniels on the phone. Okay, they didn't, meet for lunch and decide how to take down Trump. But the Democratic Party, including Pelosi, was very likely involved through intermediaries, through her lawyer, okay? Because you're going to, if Jim Jordan and James Comer are investigating Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, they're going to be asking, well, did you have any, what were your interactions with Michael Avenatti? Did you know that he was going to run for Democratic, for the Democratic nomination? And then did he discuss politics with you? Did he discuss how this would affect Trump politically? All of these, look, this is not rocket science. When you're talking about the rule of law, you're pretending as a Democratic partisan or a wonderful, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat. And Pelosi is saying, oh, you better believe in the Politico article, you better believe that Republicans would be involved. So she's hinting at Democrats being involved. You have to ask, what role did politics play in the past week? What role did politics play? We know that Pelosi almost certainly in 2018 contacted or tried to manipulate the situation with Stormy Daniels. What role did politics play? The Democratic National Committee. You have Stormy Daniels, her lawyer. Did Avenatti, you can ask Stormy on the witness stand, did Avenatti talk about politics, specifically being a Democratic frontrunner or possibly running for president as a Democrat? I mean, if you have Politico saying he's winning the 2020 Democratic primary, politics is definitely involved. Now, of course, you have letters from Michael Cohen denying that any improprieties took place in terms of campaign finance violations. You have the FEC not even looking at it. Okay, this is not even a criminal case because there was no crime committed. It could go down to a civil court. It should have gone down to a civil court, but it's Trump, so they want to get Trump. These are Democrats in New York. The FEC actually did fine Clinton and the DNC. They didn't even fine Trump. They fined Clinton and the DNC for purchasing a Steele dossier. There was a fair and neutral primary. They promised a fair and neutral primary. People gave money, and there was financial fraud there. There's a DNC fraud lawsuit, okay, that you had a Democratic National Committee lying about a fair and neutral primary, accepting donations, utilizing those donations, and eventually getting a fine to purchase the Steele dossier. But people gave expecting a fair and neutral primary, didn't realize that DNC lawyers eventually stated in court, you know what, We don't even need a primary. We could pick our nominee in smoke-filled back rooms like the 1800s or late 1800s, early 1900s, Tammany Hall. But anyway, this is a political stunt. It failed miserably. I mean, it imploded miserably. This was a huge political victory for Trump, an enormous political victory. You can't say this was the closest thing they had to indicting him, and they might indict him in Georgia, but even in Georgia, they're sensationalizing everything. The classified data issue, he's a president. Hillary Clinton wasn't a president. The fact that you could be blackmailed as a president, okay, you have one person here just going to point out that a president who could be blackmailed is in a precarious situation. Oh, yeah? How about Hunter and Joe? The difference with Trump and Hunter and Joe is that they've committed crimes and felonies, according to the New York Post and Chuck Grassley and Jim Jordan and James Comer and Ted Cruz regarding classified data. Hunter might have summarized or rewritten classified data. That's Ted Cruz. But also, who do you think, in terms of leverage, having one up on somebody, Trump having a relationship with Stormy, or having a non-existent issue with the Kremlin, which they fabricated, or actual 150 suspicious banking transactions, in addition to emails saying, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf, and that he gives 10% to the big man, Joe. My God, it's right there. But nobody knows this on the left. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back.